You've probably clicked on this video because you want your team to play like Unai Emery in Football Manager 24. Now in this episode of testing your tactics, we have an Unai Emery 4-4-1-1 tactic to run through with you. In this simulation, we're going to be using teams that Unai Emery has already managed before. So we're going to be going in with Vitoria Royale, Arsenal and Paris SaintGermain. Let's get the episode going and hit that intro. As always, with this tactic testing, we'll be going on holiday for the whole season and we're going to be using our assistant manager to control the team. Now we're going to be having no coaching badges or past experience, and the transfer window will be closed in the first season as well. Now, if you have liked this video, please click on the like button and subscribe. We're doing so well with the subscribers. We've passed the 300 mark. Let's move on to 400 now. But also, let's move on to the tactic and let's have an overview of what we're working with today. So an overview of the tactic that we are going to be testing. It's a positive mentality 4-4-1-1. In possession, it's a fairly wide attacking width, play out a defence instruction with passing to space as well, shorter passing directness and a higher tempo. In the transition, it's going to be counter press and counter with distributor fullbacks and centre backs, with take short kicks as a distribution style as well. Now out of possession, a mid-block line of engagement with a standard defensive line, prevent short goalkeeper distribution and trigger press much more often. So down to the player positions, we have goalkeeper on defend with no instructions there, it's just shorter passing as directness. Two wing-backs on support, and the instructions are going to be balanced trigger press with get further forward, run wide with the ball and shorter passing as well. Everything else is unticked here. That is for both sides. A ball playing defender on defend, balanced trigger press as well with shorter passing. A centre defender on defend as well with instructions of balanced trigger press with shorter passing, so nothing new there with that. A wide midfielder on attack on the left hand side with the instructions of trigger press less often, get further forward and to sit narrower with a shorter passing and take more risks as well on the left hand side. Deep line playmaker on support, the instructions are trigger press less often with a shorter passing, and yeah, doesn't look like anything else has been selected for this one here. A box-to-box midfielder on support, trigger press less often, shorter passing, so like the deep line playmaker, no instructions there. An inverted winger on attack for the right hand side, trigger press less often, sit narrower and get further forward, cut inside with the ball and a shorter passing with take more risks as well on the right hand side. Now a shadow striker on attack just behind the striker, balanced trigger press, get further forward, shorter passing with nothing else being selected on here, everything else as a standard. And then lastly a pressing forward on attack, trigger press more often, shorter passing, and everything else looks like it is the default. So the first test is going to be Arsenal. Their BD prediction is to finish in third, and we are going to go on a holiday now until the end of the season. As I mentioned, our assistant manager is going to be using the current match tactics, nothing else as well. Let's go on holiday until the 27th of May and let's see how we get on with the test. And what a stunning achievement that is. We have won the Premier League with Arsenal. Predicted to finish third, we finished top with 88 points, 28 wins, 4 draws and 6 losses. Now, are we involved in any of the player stats or the team stats? With the player stats for strikers, we're not in the top goal scorers here. Average rating, Gabriel Martinelli on a 7.45 and Martin Odegaard with 14 assists, topping the chart in the Premier League. Now, team overview, how are we doing? So, most goals scored. We're second in the Premier League with 89, 11 coming from corners as well, which is very nice to see. Most shots for, we're second with this one, 595. Just one shot away from Manchester City in top position. Few shots against, we're 6th with 358 across the season. Now best pass completion, we're involved with this one, 89% possession, 89% passing I should say, but a 59% average possession for Arsenal, which is fantastic to see with this tactic. Pass completion and most possession, normally the kind of smash and grab tactics that we are looking at, but very controlled from the team here. Most tackles won, we're not involved there. Not in the most dribbles either, but I suppose with our wingers not being attacking wingers, yeah, it's probably why there's not as many dribbles made throughout the season. Most clean sheets, 6th here with 12 across the season, and fewest conceded, we are with 39. Now if we look at the pass positions and how we did get on, how did we get on with this Arsenal team? Now, you know what? It looks like we just won the league just at the very end as well. So a normal start, moving up into the top of the Premier League, but then dropping down to 5th for a few games, up into 3rd. But we spent the majority of the season in the 4th position during the middle season, back up to 2nd again. But it seems that we only kind of got up to winning the league on kind of the last couple of games of the season. So if we have a look at the schedule and how we got on, obviously we just want to have a look at the Premier League with this one. A fantastic start to the season, 4-2 victory against Fulham, with 4 straight wins coming in here, but then 2 losses as well, 1 to Everton, a 3-1, which is pretty poor, and then a 3-2 to Manchester City, but then a further 6 wins on the bounce there. It's quite a solid season until you come up against the bigger teams here. So, well, I say bigger teams, Chelsea and Crystal Palace getting victories here, but then a lovely kind of December through to middle of February, where we didn't lose a single game, but then we only lost 2 towards the end of the season, one against Newcastle and the other against Chelsea as well. But yeah, some nice victories coming in towards the end of the season. Looking how we got on in all competitions. In UEFA Champions League, we're knocked out in the round of 16 to Inter Milan. In the FA Cup, 5th round to West Ham. Runners up in the Carabao Cup, where we lost 1-0 to Liverpool, and then runners up in the Community Shield, which no one really cares about that, but we lost 2-1 to Manchester City. Now let's have a look at how the squad kind of performed throughout the season here. Now, Gabriel Jesus topped the scoring charts with us, 19 goals and 4 assists across the season. Bukayo Saka with 14 goals and 7 assists. Martin Odegaard, probably the standout player here though, 13 goals and 16 assists. With Martinelli 11-7 and Emile Smith-Rowe with 10 and 9. So this Arsenal test complete, let's move on to Villarreal. So now with the Villarreal test, we have got the tactic loaded in for Unai Emery 4-4-1-1. Let's see how we get on with this one. Now their media prediction is to finish in 4th place. Can we do an Arsenal and win the division? Now it's quite tough with Barcelona and obviously with Real Madrid, but let's see how we get on. Now we have finished lower than our media prediction. We've finished in 6th place, although we are in the Europa League as well. So 18 wins, 9 draws and 11 losses as well, plus 18 goal difference and 63 points. Now, we're never going to go in top position, but we are kind of 11 points away from the Champions League, which not fantastic, but let's see kind of how we did perform throughout the season. We never got the sack, which is fantastic. So in regards of goals, we've got Gerardo Moreno with 19 across the season, 2nd in the La Liga. Average rating, none of our players are here, but with assists, Danny Parejo is 3rd with 12. So the team overview, most goals for, we were 5th for this one, 69 goals, 7 from corners this time, so it's 4 less than we did manage with the Arsenal test. Most shots for, we were 4th with this one, 469 across the season. Fewest against, no, we're not involved with that one. Best pass completion, we are involved here though. 8th with 88% of pass completion completed, and then 7th for possession, 54%. So what we can see from this tactic, there is a lot of possession gained with this, which is very nice to see. Most tackles won, we're not involved there. Dribbles for, not in that one either. Most clean sheets and fewest conceded, as expected, we weren't involved there. But let's have a look at our pass positions. Were we unlucky? Well, we started the league fantastically there. We're actually top for a few weeks, and we rose to the top as well halfway through the season, game week 16, and yeah, fell down to 2nd, but just a bad last 8 games where we must have lost form and trickled down into 6th place. So it was going really well originally. In the other competition screen, so Europa League, we didn't manage to get out the qualifying round here. 10 points, so we didn't get out on goal difference, which isn't good to see. And in the Conference League, we're knocked out in the quarterfinals to Atletico Pamplona. So an all-Spanish quarterfinal was that then? It was. Who did they face in the semi-finals? Frankfurt, which they lost to them there. And then in the Spanish Cup, we're knocked out in the 4th round to Valencia. So if we have a look at kind of how we did perform throughout the season, only with the first division as well, or the La Liga. Now, as we saw, a strong start, 4 straight wins here, with a blip to a loss to Almeria, but then beat Girona and Real Betis as well. Lost 3-0 to Real Madrid, but a fantastic kind of start here. We lost 2 games in our first kind of 12, which is not too bad. Here is where we kind of fell down though. We drew 5 straight games. We won 1 of our last 8. 1 of our last 10 actually, looking at this. So yeah, kind of dropping form towards the end of the season. There's a 5-5 draw here to Atletico Madrid, and then some stalemate. So if we'd have won any of these, then obviously our position would have been a lot stronger. Let's look at how the team kind of played going forward as well. So Gerard Moreno with 22 goals and 2 assists across the season. Danny Parejo 14 and 12, and Jeremy Pino with 11 and 2. So it looks like the end of the season kind of affected where we did finish in the league. But last test with Paris Saint-Germain, let's get into it. Now for the last test, Paris Saint-Germain, we have the Unai Emery 4-4-1-1 tactic loaded in. We're going to come back from holiday towards the end of the season. Now, obviously, we are expected to win the league. Anything less, then yeah, the tactic probably isn't great. But, you know, let's see how we get on. Now, as expected, we did win the league, but in convincing fashion as well. 80 points, 25 wins, 5 draws, and 4 losses coming in here. Let's see how we kind of performed throughout the whole season with the stats as well. So Kylian Mbappe with 29 goals, topping the scoring charts, with Kolo Muani with 20 as well. Average rating, we've dominated here. Mbappe 8.33 across the season is crazy numbers. Kolo Muani and Marco Asensio topping the top 3 as well. Mbappe, as well as scoring 29 goals, got 14 assists as well. Man of the matches, 13 for Mbappe. Clean sheets, we weren't involved, and yellow cards, we weren't involved there either, which is good to see. So most goals for, 112 across the season, 15 coming from corners this time, which is the best we've seen so far. Most shots for, we've dominated, 679 across the season. Second with fewest shots conceded, or few shots against, 267. Best pass completion, 88% again, 7th there, and 56% average possession across the season. So what we have seen from this tactic, it's very solid in the middle of the park. Most tackles won, most dribbles made. We are second with this one, 634. Joint third clean sheets with 13, and 5th with fewest conceded with 38 across the season. So pass positions, as expected, didn't leave the top position, which is very nice to see. It's a solid tactic for the higher teams, as we are showing. Champions League, knocked out in a round of 16 to Barcelona, so the curse still continues for Paris Saint-Germain. But we won the French Cup, we won that 3-3 on penalties against Lens. And then the Trophée des Champions, we beat Toulouse 5-0. So very nice to see. In the schedule, obviously we don't need to look at the Champions League, but in the league, yeah, complete domination. A sea of greens, a little blip in November with a couple of losses, one to Strasbourg as well, but yeah, what's that? We scored 22 goals in the last 4 games to kind of dominate and seal our position as champions of France. And then lastly, looking at how the players did play, Mbappe 39 goals and 17 assists across the season, Muani with 30 and 11, Asensio with 17 and 17, nicely even there, Ousmane Dembele 14 and 11, and Goncalo Ramos with 13 and 3. A very, very successful test with this tactic. Now, would I suggest this tactic going forward? I really would. It's a good tactic for elite teams. As we saw the Vitoria test, obviously we dropped below our media prediction there, but with Arsenal, we won the league convincingly. Yeah, give it a go. But as always, my testing is a little bit different to what you would be doing. You'll be buying your own players, and you'll be playing each game as well. So this is just a simulation test, but yeah, a big thumbs up there. Now, if you found this video useful, please hit the like button and subscribe. And there's some more videos here for you to view. See you next time.